It's puzzle time, and Sudoku Sleuth has a new case for you today. So today's case is quite the treat for any of you that are Star Wars fans out there, and really, who isn't a Star Wars fan? So I hope you're up for solving this puzzle with me today. Our cases are often Sudoku variants, so meaning they're Sudoku puzzles with a twist that allows us to fill in a grid that's often completely devoid of numbers. Today, we seem to have generously 4 digits in the grid, unlike the last few videos where there was none at all. And today's puzzle is called Millennium Falcon. Now, presumably that's because of this lovely outline here that if you let your imagination run a little bit wild, you can essentially see the outline of the Falcon. And is that says cockpit and that says gun. I'm not sure if the Millennium Falcon has only just the one gun. I'm sure somebody will correct me down below in the comments if I've got this wrong at all. Well, let's take a look at today's rules. So once again, normal Sudoku rules applies, which means we need to fill in the digits 1 through to 9 in every row, column, and box in this grid. The outline of the Falcon says grey line, but to me it seems green, is a German whispers line. If you're unfamiliar with what a German whispers line, it means that every digit, every adjacent pair of digits have to be separated by at least 5. So for example, if this is a 1, this has to be 6 or greater to fit on this German whispers line. The cockpit and laser cannons, presumably that's these, are thermometers, and the black dot is a kropki dot. So thermometers, if you're unfamiliar with it, it means that the numbers have to ascend from the bulb end of the thermometer, as thermometers typically do. So if this is a 1, this could be 2 or higher, but actually let's make this an 8. If this is an 8, this has to be a 9 because otherwise it wouldn't be higher than an 8. Kropki dots, we've seen these before on this channel. So that means that these 2 digits, or this pair, have to be a ratio of 2 to 1. So if that's a 3, that's a 6. And there are relatively few pairs of digits that actually can go on a kropki dot. That's all the rules we have today. So let's get solving this puzzle in this case. So we're not given a huge amount of information. Let me restart, pardon me, the time. We're not given a huge amount of information here. So what I often find is on German whispers lines, the first thing you really want to do is color code them. And I'll explain why that is. So if you think about the digits 1 to 9, if you put a 1, as I said earlier in my example, this has to be a 6. And if this is a 6, this has to be away by 5. So this would have to be a 1. In this particular case, that's a bad example because I'm repeating 1 in the box. But what you can see is happening in here is essentially we're oscillating between digits that are lower than 5, followed by digits that are higher than 5, and then lower, and you just keep going around all of this entire German whispers line. One other thing that you should know about German whispers lines is you cannot add the digits 5 on there, because if, for example, this is a 5, well, this number would have to be either a 0 or a 10 to be more than 5 away, which clearly is not allowed under normal Sudoku rules. So given that essentially the digits are oscillating between, I'm going to call them different polarity, lower than 5 or higher than 5, you can very quickly just color code every other cell on the German whispers line as they are going to be one polarity. Let's call it green. And then every other cell would be the opposite polarity. Let's call these orange. And yeah, that's lovely. That's got to be what the break-in is. So let's take a look at row 7 here. So we don't know yet if this is a low digit or a high digit, the green cells in here. But this 4 tells us. Because if you think about it, there are only 4 digits above the number 5 and only 4 digits below the number 5. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's the 4 lower digits. 6, 7, 8, 9, that's the 4 higher digits. And with this 4 here that I'm going to color blue for low, it tells us that these digits have to be high, because if you try and put 1, 2, 3, and 4, you end up repeating one of these digits in this particular row. So green is actually high, orange is actually low, and we've got the polarity on this entire German whispers line sorted out. And this is very helpful now for this particular kropki dot, because if you think about it, there are only 2 pairs in a kropki dot that can have a low digit paired with a high digit. So it's either a 3, 6 pair or a 4, 8 pair, and it can't be anything else. So 1, 2 pair will not work because they are both lower than 5, and it would have to be the same color. Right, so a 3 and a 4, remember 8, 5 away, so that's 8 or 9. This is actually quite open, but so we'll ignore that for now. If it's a 6, it has to be a 1. If it's an 8, it has to be a 2 or 3. Actually, let's ask a different question for a second. And I'm surprised I didn't actually spot this earlier. So we have 4 and 5 both looking into box 8. And the tricky thing about a 4, and let's pretend this is a 4 for a second, it would mean that both sides to be 5 away would have to be 9. So 4s and 6s, because if this is a 6, actually that's a bad example. If this is a 6, both of these that see each other on the same row have to be 1, are actually quite restricted on German whispers lines. So the 4 can't be here because both of these would have to be 9. 4 can't be here, both of these would have to be 9. It's not there, and the 5 is on neither of these as well. So this is a 4-5 pair. This is the remaining low digits, pardon me, in the grid, in here as well. This can't be a 6, so this is a 7, 8, 9. Already shown this cannot be a 6. This can be a 6. And because we've got the 5 and all the other high digits in this row, the remaining digits are actually all low as well. Let's have a think about this a bit more. So the question I'm trying to ask, because it'll be helpful if this is a 6, because this would force this to be a 1, and we'll be continuing to make progress in this puzzle. So the question I'm now asking myself is, can this be a 4-8 pair? And I'm just trying to think through if that is possible or not. So if this is a 4, 9, 8, and this absolutely can be 1, 2, or 3. This won't be an 8. So the 8, sorry, yeah. So we'd have to put a 6 somewhere on here, which would force this to be a 1, 1. Right, maybe I'm asking the wrong question. Can it be a 3, 6 pair? Maybe that's the right question. Sorry, I'm struggling to do this in my head, so I'm just going to fill this in for a second. So these are not 8, so this has to be a 6, because that's the only remaining 6 in the grid, in this box, pardon me. So this has to be a 1. These are not 1. And in all honesty, I don't see any problems with anything I've done so far. This can easily be a 7 with a 1, 2 pair here. Same here, this could be a 1, 2 pair. No, this can't be a 1, 2. So the 7 would have to be in here to 9, and 3. And all of that looks like it works totally fine for me. So maybe that's the wrong question to ask. The question to ask perhaps was, can this be a 3? So that would be a 3, 6, 1. Either of these could be a 7. This couldn't be a 7. This can't be a 6. Sorry, 6. This can be 1, 2. This could be 1, 2. So one of these is a 7. Right, maybe we don't have enough information yet to figure what this is at yet. I may be missing something here. If I am, apologies. I'm sure you're screaming at me in the comments down below. But let's carry on, see what else we can solve in this puzzle. Right, so looking up, we know that these are from 1, 2, and 3. Can this be... Can they be 1, 2, and 3? Yes, they can be. Presumably same here. This now has to be all of them can be in here. Yeah, that's fine. This is proving to be less helpful than I hoped it would be, actually. I was thinking this will allow us to make a bit more of a breakthrough. So let's think this through. So if this is a 3, that's an 8, and then this is a 1, 2 pair. This is a 4, this is a 9, and this is 1, 2, 3 pair. In any case, this is not a 4. Okay. All right, so we know that's the 4, meaning that's the 9. That's the 9. All right, so I just was missing this. Not 9, not 9. 6 is now one of these. This is not a 6. All of these are still valid. This is a 5, 4. Just 5s I often find coloring them grey because they're not either low or high. Just helps me really just spot anything else I may be missing in the grid. So here's a lovely setup. So 2 9s looking into box 9 here. So we know the 9 has to be in one of these 2 cells, but because this is on a thermometer and there's nothing larger than 9, this has to be the 9. This is not a 9. And this is 1 of 6 of 7. 8 must be in here. And we're off and running once again. So because one of these is a 6, one of these has to be the 1. This is not a 1. 4 must be in here. Anything else obvious? Not really. This is from 6, 7, and 8. Right, now that I want to try this one more time. Now that we've completed this a bit more, can this be a 4, 8 pair? 4, 9, 8, and you have 1, 2, or 3, which means this would be the 6, this would be a 1, this would be a 1, this would be a 7, 2. Yeah, again, no issues. 4, 8. No, so let's try it the other way around. 3, 6. That would be the 1. And because that's the 1, this can't be a 7. This would have to be the 8 with a 2, 3 pair. This would have to be the 7. The 2 would be here. The 1 would be here. And yeah, that's fine. Okay, so maybe this is still too early to try and figure out what's going on here. Let's take a look up. So this can't be a 6. This is a 7, 8, 9. This is 1, 2, 3. So we're missing 1 low digit and 1 high digit in here, plus the 5. And the 5 is quite restricted in column 9. Can only be in one of 2 locations. This can't be a 6, because obviously that would require a double 1 on either side. It must be missing something. It shouldn't be this tough to see the next step. So I'm missing a lot of low digits, in which there is 1 in here and 2 in there, along with a high, which is 1 of 6 or 7. So 5 must be in this column. Must be in here. Let's have to think about this a bit more, pardon me. Sorry, I'm very quiet today. I'm just, actually puzzled by this Sudoku. And I'm sure it's just looking right at me, and I'm sure my mouse is hovering right on it, and people are shouting at me as they're watching this video. Let's just see what else we can spot in here. So this can be all of them. Now the fact that there is a 4 looking in here, I don't know if it's meant to tell us something. Right, let's take a look again at the German whispers line throughout and just make sure that we're not incorrectly including any numbers that are actually invalid. So this can be 1, 2, or 3, because easily this could be a double 8, and that could still be a 3. Nothing wrong with that. There you go. This can't be a 3 because that would require an 8 in both of these, given there's a 9 already. So this is not a 3. These can be both 1s to allow 6. Nothing is wrong with that. It can go up to 8. This would require an 8, 9 pair in that order to have a 3. That's fine. This can be a double 1. With a 6 in here, so that's everything. Obviously, this cannot be 4. Can this be a 3? Yeah, 8, 9, that's fine. Can't be a 6, we know that. Can be an 8, 9 pair. Can be a double 1. Can be 8, 9. Can be double 1. the 7 can be a double 9, the 4. Right, so that does look correct. And I'm not missing any triplets or doubles in any of the rows or columns. So inevitably, I keep coming back to this kropki, trying to figure out what is it that I'm not quite seeing with this. So I'm gonna one more time try this. 8, 9. That's pretty open. Where does the 6 go? It would have to be in here. There you go. Can't believe it took me this long to spot this. Right. So I incorrectly labeled this as possibly to be a 6 because I don't know how I can explain it really, because you know you can't have a double 1. This has to be the 6. This has to be a 3. This can be 8 or 9. This has to be the 1. 2, 3 pair. This has to be an 8. 7. Yeah, 2, 1, 3. 3. And this could be anything, that's fine. So 1, 2, so what are we missing in here? Let's see if these numbers are looking up, and they are. This is not 1, 3, this is a 2. This is not 1, 2, this is a 3. So this is not 7, it's an 8, 9. Sure, this has done a bit more work for us than I'm first seeing. So we've got 1, 2, 3. We need a 4, 5, 7, 8. That feels like quite a lot of possibilities to cover all. Let's see if this thermometer can actually help us now. So we've got an 8, 9 pair. That's quite helpful. So we're actually quite restricted in here. And in fact, we know that the 2 must go in this column, 1 in here, and the other digits that we need are 6 and 7, with a 1 in here and a 2 in there. So can this be 7? This can be 7, 8, 9. For now, that's possible. Six would require a 7 and an 8 or a 9, so that's all possible for now, but quite restricted. Any unique digits in here? What do we have? So 1, 2, 3, we need a 4, 5, 6, and 9. Okay. Yep, we have this 1, 3 pair here. This is a 2. This has to be a 4. This has to be a 9. Not a 9. So these have to be high because they can see 5 and all 4 low digits. Anything else that's forced. So this is a 6, 7, 8. We know the smallest this can be is a 4, so this can be a 5. That's not much of a revelation. We already knew that with our pencil marking. We've got 9, 6, 7, 8, so we've got quite a lot of high digits in this column. There you go, that's got to be a 4 because we've got these 2 4s looking into this box, eliminating all the other options, so that's not a 4, neither is that. 4 has to be one of these two. That's a 1. See, the 1-2 pair really don't help particularly here because it still shows us that 6 is possible, 7 here is still possible. But it does eliminate 1 from here and the 6 from here. So that's 7 or 8. Take what can get at the moment. What do we need left? So 9 is not in there. This could, yeah, too many options still. Right, I've not really done much Sudoku at the moment. I might just, so we know the 9 has to be in here. 2, 3 are covered. 1 is covered. 4 is covered. What can this digit be? So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 4th high digit in this row, and therefore this has to be the remaining low digit. So that's not 1, that's not 6. And this is 6, 7, or 8. So to complete this column, we need 3, 5 as a pair. Both are possible. No, they're not. So that's a 5, 3, not a 3, 2, 1. This has to be a 3, and therefore there is 2 remaining high digits in here, and that's one of 6, 7, or 8. All possibilities remain here. That's all 4 high digits done. So we need a low digit 2, 3 pair. 2 must go in here. Right, this is not 6 or 7. That's an 8, 9 pair. That's very helpful. Extremely helpful actually. So that's 6, that is 7. That's 8. That's 6. That's 9. Both options are possible here, 6 and 8. So this is the 7, 8, and we need a 6 somewhere in here. That's a 6, 8. Need a 7, 1, 2. It's not yet known, and a 6 with 1 of 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's not an 8. So what else are we missing in this column? So we need a 1, 1, 3, 6, 7. So this can be 3, 6, 7. This can be all of them. That's not very helpful. And same is true here. Right, here we go. We said earlier, if this is 7, this has to be an 8, this has to be a 9. You've got a 9 that's looking in this column, so this can't be a 9, this can't be a 7. If this is a 6, this is a 7, 8. This is no longer an 8. Can we do a little bit more? Can this really still be 6, 7, 8? For now, yes, it can. But it's getting awfully close to basically helping us unravel things. Right, there's probably too many pencil marks in here to be correct. So that's 7. So what do we need that's left in this column? Sorry, in this row, pardon me. That's not 9, 6. That's not 7. So we need 4, 5, and 8. 4, 5, 5, and 8. And over here we need 5. So that's not an 8. Or a 6. That's a 7. 2 is in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 has to be in here, which leaves us with a 4, 5 pair. No, I made a mistake somewhere actually. Let's rewind a second. So that's not an 8. So to complete this box, we need 4. 5 and 8. And over here, this is not an 8. We said it's not a 6. So that is definitely a 7. 8. That's all correct. I'm sure it's probably because I missed the 8, 9 pair at the top. Right, so the 8, that's eliminating the options from here. So this is 2, 5, and 8, and 9. 2, 5, 8, 9, that's correct. So this can be 2, 5, and 9. This could be 2, 5, 9 again. All we know is the 8 is in one of these two. We know the 4 is in here. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We need the 6, which goes in here, and 1 of 5 or 9, so it's got to be 5. That should help us now finish up. Five. So we've got 4, 7, 8. So the 7 has to be in here. This is not a 7. It's a 2, 6 pair. Do we have anything disambiguating it? Not yet. And 6 is not in here. 4, 5, 9. Had an 8 at the bottom looking in here all along. This scanning is really letting me down today, so I'm making quite a hash of today's puzzle. So that would have been 6, 7, 8. So this has to be, in fact, now a 2, a 4. Now it's either 1 of 5 or 6. For now, both of which are valid. And we're nearly there with this puzzle. Me. So that was my pencil marking letting me down. So got 6, 7, and 9 that we need. So the 9 has to be in here. This is a 6, 7 pair. We're not able to disambiguate yet. That's fine. That's not the 4. That is the 4. And that's probably all the 4s now done. So I've gone very quiet because I've been making very silly mistakes while solving this puzzle. So I'm just concentrating. See if I can finish this puzzle without any more errors. That's got to be a 2, and that's got to be an 8, and that should be, if I've not made any other mistakes, the puzzle solved. Wow. It's a quite an involved puzzle, although I admit, it's been a bit of a struggle bus for me, this puzzle compared to others. I think it's a wonderful puzzle, Ceedrich. Maybe if I can quickly check, is the Millennium Falcon indeed got just the one? Yes, it does. So my apologies, Ceedrich. You have actually got an accurate representation of the Millennium Falcon, and quite a tribute it is for the Star Wars fans that are out there. Thank you very much for creating this puzzle for us for our enjoyment. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be back again tomorrow, probably with a fresh pair of eyes that will make fewer mistakes, I suspect. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.